Welcome to Starting from Scratch. No dogs raised, sold, or bred for any legal purposes. This is strictly for historical and educational purposes only. Back to the Woods series, episode 6. Eli Jr. Eli Jr., one of the best sons of Boudreaux's Eli, two-time winner. The Eli and Spook breeding produced Walling's Bully son, two-time winner, one-time loser, who was a hard-biting barnstormer. Clemens Brandy, from all accounts, she was a strong mouth dog. And Eli Jr., two-time winner, who had a strong mouth and was game. Eli's sire, Strub, was not game, nor Strub's sire, Boudreaux's Blind Billy. Eli, two-time winner, was bred to Spook, who was out of Eli's half-brother, out of Strub's, named Boz, who was a one-time winner. The Eli and Spook breeding produced these three great dogs. Now let's talk about Eli Jr. He was bred to Carver's Orphan Annie. This breeding produced Carver's Orphan Annie 2. The cross added the Clouds and Zeke and Carver's Judy to the Eli and Spook cross. Carver would combine Eli Jr., Brandy, Eli Jr., and Orphan Annie to produce Crenshaw's Champion Rascal, who was a great dog and an awesome producer. The Eli Jr. line would be a awesome line of game dogs with strong mouths. Eli Jr. was bred to Clayton's Java. This breeding produced Champion Hurt, a great dog and producer. Divine's Patty, a great producer. And one of the greatest of all times, Adam and Crutchfield's Grand Champion Art, who was a phenomenal game dog and producer. Eli was stolen, never recovered. Eli Jr. was stolen and never recovered. Art was stolen and never recovered. These dogs were bred a limited amount of times. But Eli Jr. was just that dog. The cross with Grand Champion Art will match the Eli and Spook cross with the Carver's Pistol and Ed Crenshaw's Champion Reno, which were proven producing game dogs. Grand Champion Art was a phenomenal producer. Produced a lot of winning dogs before he was stolen and never recovered. In my humble opinion, if these dogs weren't stolen, they would be some of the top registered merits in American Pit Bull Terrier history. Stay tuned. More to come about the Eli Jr. dogs from starting from scratch.